Hi, I'm Jeanine Smith, and I work in the Discipleship Ministries office. I was raised with loving parents who taught me to be colorblind, that would be the best way to approach people, is to view them as if they had no color and to treat everyone the same. And that's the way I grew up. In high school, I had a dear friend who was Indian, and she invited me to her graduation party, and I went. And it was the first time I'd ever been in an environment where I was one of maybe just 2 or 3 Caucasian people. And the music was different, and the food was different. The language, just the little subtle cues, the cultural interactions, the whole thing was completely different at her graduation party. And I thought, wow. What is it like for her to go to all of our stuff and it be so different all the time? I had no idea about her life, and I realized she was a person I considered a good friend. So that started me on a journey as I headed into college of being curious and interested and wanting to get to know people in their cultural context and what was going on in their life and really see their color. And life went along for me. And then at 24, I was living in the South, and I was really confronted with some harsh racism that I had thought just really didn't exist. I thought that people might be subtly racist, or there were some old systemic things that had put people at a disadvantage, but just people boldly saying, I don't want to shower where someone of another color has showered. So that really started me in a journey of not just wanting to discover people in their different races, but to really lean in as being an activist and an opportunity to say, no, this isn't okay, and to stand up in places and really feel like, as someone of the dominant white culture, that would be an important role that I could play. And life continued, and 10 more years go by, and my husband and I are buying a home, and I felt it was deeply important that if I took my children and take my home, which is my biggest purchase, and combine those and create and make it in a place where my kids could interact with a lot of different races. So I know my real estate agent thought I was a little crazy, because I X'd out all these schools in the valley near the church that my husband works at, and said, a lot of them were 90% white. Others were only 10% white. And I wanted a rich opportunity for my kids to interact and for us to interact with our neighborhood. And so we purchased. And I think sometimes I would come to a place and saying, aha, I've arrived with race relations. But I have not. I've learned there's lots that I still need to learn. For instance, I'll just tell one story that seems a little silly, but I grew up thinking that when you get your ears pierced, that's kind of a thing when you do when you're becoming a woman. So in your adolescence, and almost like a moral thing that you wouldn't do that early, that would be inappropriate. And then my daughter in her elementary school has all these little friends who have their ears pierced when they're babies. And as I got to know their moms, I would ask them about that. And they said to me, in their cultural context, of course you'd pierce your baby's ears when right from the beginning. That's just compassionate, so it wouldn't hurt them to do it older when they remember. And that just got me thinking, and I continue to confront or be confronted by ideas that I thought are true and right, that are okay, but they're not true and right for everyone. And beginning to learn and interact with people of lots of different cultures. So continuing to learn what I don't know, that's been my journey.